What's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Anna, and we about to get into Bel-Air Season 1 episode. Okay, so let's just start off with the characters. They first introduced us to Will. Will looks just like, I'm not going to say just like, but they have very similar features. They got the big ears, they tall and kind of lanky, a little goofy, but not overly goofy. And then you have, Vi, which is Will's mom, and she looks just like the woman that played Will's mom in the original Fresh Prince. And they also introduced us to his friend, Trey. And I remember it was one episode where Trey came to visit Will in Philly, and I believe it was played by, not Wesley Snipes, was it Don Cheadle? Child, I get them confused. One of them, but I remember him. So basically, they just giving us a little montage of his life so far. He is a pretty okay student. His teacher was passing out the test. He got a 97. He a star basketball player, and they show us he won his game in like the last 5 seconds. After the game, they showed Trey and Will outside of this corner store, and they was eating, Phillies or whatever. So this local drug dealer with some dreads gonna walk up and basically start messing with them. And at the end of the conversation, the man end up pulling out a gun, talking about, man, y'all ain't no shit. If I ain't go to juvie, I'll be the best basketball player around here. So he end up challenging them to hoop later on. And, of course, Will ain't take that shit lightly. So, of course, he's going to take him up on that challenge. So, they flip to Trey and Will on their way to go play basketball with the drug dealer. It's late at night. It's dark outside. And Trey end up saying, like, I got a gun for protection because he got one. You never know what's going to go down. I honestly don't think that you should still do this. Like, it's been 3 hours and you still mad. You need to let it go. He like, I'm from Philly. I gotta rep my city. It's just like, it's not that serious. So they get to the game, and of course they gotta do their proverbial shit talking. And then the head drug dealer, which his name is Rashad, ended up walking up, and he was like, I'll put a bet on it. You and Dreadhead and one of my other guys against you and Trey. If you win, I give you $2,000. If you lose, then you gotta come work for me. So we're like, make sure you give us that $2,000 in dubs. All 20s, please, thanks. So, of course, they play and win the game. And Buddy with the dreads, old pussy ass, he a sore loser, same thing. He's mad because he lost. And as soon as Rashad was about to count out the money, because he was going to honor the bet, they won fair and square, Buddy with the dreads threw the ball, and I feel like he was trying to throw the ball at either Will or Trey, but it ended up hitting Rashad. That pissed Rashad off. Rashad started going off. Will like, calm down, bro, like, we ain't throw that shit. And then he like, who the fuck you talking to? So Will end up socking Rashad. A whole fight break out. Trey end up getting jumped by Rashad people. So Will don't know what to do because Rashad down there getting effed up. So Will go grab the gun and he shoot twice in the air. So everybody dispersed with the exception of Rashad, Trey, and Will. And as Rashad getting up off the ground, he pointing the gun at Will is pointing the gun at Rashad as Rashad is getting up off the ground. So Rashad like, if you ain't finna use it, I'ma kill your ass. And it's just like, Will, for you to be from Philly, the hood streets of Philly, you should know that you can't never pull a gun on nobody, not on no drug dealer, and not use it and kill. You got to kill him now. After that, the police ended up coming, and they arrested Will and Rashad. The next day, once they get out of jail, Rashad telling Will, I'm going to catch you in these streets. because Will gets bailed out of jail. And Rashad thinks he got bailed out from snitching, but in all actuality, his Uncle Phil bailed him out. So he get in the car with his mom, and she driving, she pissed off. They on their way to LAX, and he finna go live with Aunt Phil and Uncle Phil and Aunt Phil. When at LAX, he ends up catching a ride with what we find out to be Jazz. Jazz is cute. Whoever the actor is that's playing Jazz is really handsome, dark skin. First of all, let's get into this dark skin cast so far. Trey is dark skin, Rashad dark skin, the dude with the dreads was dark skin, even though that's a little problematic because they don't ever make the drug dealers light skin. They usually make them dark skin to make it seem more scary, but we're not going to talk about the colors thing right now. Jazz gives him a ride, and they end up chopping it up, having a nice conversation, and they exchange numbers, and they had end up stopping and looking at the view, and Jazz just gave Will a word of advice, like, this city will try to make you forget who you are and where you came from, and don't let it do it to you. So when they get to the house, Jeffrey meets them at the car. And first, he told Will that it was going to be $150, but then when Jeffrey walked up, he like, let me get $200. So Jeffrey gave him $200. They go in the house, and Aunt Viv meet him at the door. Aunt Viv is also chocolate. I'm here for it. She invite him in, and there's a party going on. And she ends up telling him that the party is basically a fundraiser for Uncle Phil, who's running for district attorney. So she was about to show him to his room, and he was like, is it alright if I join the party? And she like, now, this is what Jazz was talking about. I feel like Aunt Viv was about to be a little problematic because she kind of hesitated when Will asked if he could join the party, because it looked like she wanted to be like, your ass just came from, you just did something stupid in Philadelphia, and then you finna come down here and hood it up. But she was like, she thought about it, and she like, let me not be that person. Of course you can come to the party, you family. And I'm like, you better. Don't do that, Aunt Viv. I keep it consistent with the Aunt Viv we knew. I know it's a whole different show, but if you don't turn it and make it a drama, some similarities still gonna have to be there for me. Aunt Viv takes Will to, she shows him around the house, and they end up running into Hillary. I love that Hillary, she's also chocolate, and she's not ditzy and dumb in this. Like, she's a food vlogger, and she's very fashionable. That outfit she had on was really cute. It was like a tweed jacket, long sleeves with like the feathers on the cuffs, and then she had on a tweed skirt, and I believe it had like light feathers on around the rim of the skirt. It was really cute. So she ends up taking Will to Carlton's closet to change his clothes, since he's going to be coming to the party. So she changes him, she styles him in this dark, like, lavender, I don't know if it's such thing as dark lavender, but that's what it looked like to me. Dark lavender suit with a white shirt and some rose gold cufflinks, and he, rocked it with some Nikes, I believe. So they go outside to the backyard to the party, and Hillary says she about to go find some alcohol. While she go do that, Will spots Uncle Phil. And this was also another hilarious thing to me. Will, as he was walking up to greet Uncle Phil, he had that goofy, if y'all ever paid attention, I'll pay attention to just little stuff. Like, I'm a ad-lib, side joke that wasn't really supposed to be the main joke on stand-up kind of girl. Like, that's what get me the most. Will was walking like, with that silly bop that Will Smith, the real Will Smith, actually did in Fresh Prince. I don't know if he walked like that in real life, but in the show, when he was playing a teenage boy, he was a teenage boy. But that, if y'all know, y'all know. So anyway, he walk up to Uncle Phil, and Uncle Phil is entertaining two of his colleagues. One was a judge, his name was Judge Robertson, and Fred Wilkes. I don't think they ever mentioned what Fred did, but he interrupted and he came over being his, goofy self, and then he tried to kind of get himself together because he realized, this is a formal party. Let me calm down a little bit. So he ends up trying to thank Uncle Phil, and he don't really get all of it out, but he basically said, thank you for whatever you did for me. And the judge and Fred was kind of looking suspicious. So I feel like that might come and bite everybody in the ass later on. Jeffrey ended up peeping the scene that Will is talking too much. And he goes and gets him and tell him, come on, let me take you to get some food. You probably hungry from being on the plane. So as they go get food, they run into Ashley, and Ashley is the eat the carrots people. If y'all ever seen That's So Raven, she's real into what's going on with the world. She's probably not a litter bug. She basically said the earth was on fire. So in this series, Lisa is Carlton's ex-girlfriend. But Lisa is feeling Will because she walked up to him, introduced herself, and she was like, I'm liking the kicks with the soup. And he was like, I mean, So they chop it up, and as they talking, Carlton walk up. Now I feel like Carlton only walked up because he saw that they was flirting with one another. Otherwise, I don't think he would have even said anything to Will because his attitude was stank as soon as he walked up. So Will like, hey, Carlton, what's up? And he like, hey, Will. And then he was like, Lisa, I see you've met my cousin, Will. And she was like, cousin? Let me go over there. I'll see y'all later. So Lisa walks off, and Will asks Carlton, like, yeah, how you doing, cousin? He like, I'm thriving. And that right there already rubbed me wrong, because it's just like, obviously, look at your house. You ain't have to do all of that. But then Will was like, you ain't gonna ask me how I'm doing? He was like, I honestly want to know what you're doing in my clothes and the real reason that you out here. So Carlton already judging him and looking at him sideways. He already feeling some type of way that Lisa is feeling Will. He already see that. And he's not over Lisa. So Uncle Phil gives a speech about why he wants to be a district attorney. And he was basically saying that he's tired of the broken system and the prison to pipeline that happens in communities of people of color. As he says that, Judge Robertson, Will is standing in front, and Judge Robertson is right behind him. He gonna put his hand on Will's shoulder as if to say, we gonna whip you into shape, young man. It's just like, don't do that. You don't know me. So after the party, Uncle Phil takes Will to basically talk to him about the ground rules. This is my house. You're going to abide by what I say. You're going to abide by my rules. And for some reason, that pissed Will off. It's just like, I don't know why you thought you was going to come to these people's house and do what you want to do. That's why your ass over here now, because you out there being hard-headed and do what you want to do. So that ended up pissing Will off. And he go to his room. When he gets to his room, he ended up checking his phone. And his friend Trey had called him 10 times. Trey has no idea that Will is all the way in LA. He like, bro, where you at? Trey nervous as hell because apparently Rashad got money on Will head. Like, he say he wants you dead because he think you snitched to get out of jail. And Will like, it's not even like that. Like, my uncle pulled some strings. He was like, well, you need to come down here and clear that up. So Will tries to sneak out. He called Jazz to come pick him up. And before they can even pull off, Jeffrey on one side of the car, Uncle Phil on the other side of the car. Jeffrey give Jazz $100 bill, and Jazz get up out of there, and Will go back in the house. So Uncle Phil basically tries to have a heart-to-heart with him and tell him, like, don't waste this opportunity to, like, take advantage of this opportunity to start over again, because everybody don't get a chance like this. Like, everybody don't get a chance to go to their rich people house and restart. If you shoot somebody, you're in jail. And he basically said, I'm the reason you got out. I'm the reason you're not still sitting in the cell right now. So you need to be mindful of that. Back, How's Will gonna come out there and straighten that out? Because even if he do come and tell Trey, first of all, he's not gonna get a chance to come and tell Rashad anything, because okay, you're gonna tell him that Uncle Phil was the one that got you out of jail. However, you still pointed a gun at that man. He's not gonna let that go. Make it make sense. So towards the end of the night, Phil and Viv end up having a conversation about Will and his behavior, and possibly sending his ass back to Philadelphia. And when they go to Will's room to talk to him about that, because Phil is concerned that his colleagues are suspicious, because he wasn't supposed to pull any strings to get Will out of trouble. Like, he can get in trouble for that. So when they go to Will's room, Will is in there crying. Come to find out, Trey done got shot. After dealing with Trey getting shot, the next morning, Will comes downstairs and have breakfast with everybody, and they're basically going around having breakfast talk, seeing what's going on with each other's lives and what everybody got planned for their weekend. Hillary says that she's getting ready for House Cuisine, which is a top food magazine in LA that she has an interview with, I think the next morning. And Carlton says he has lacrosse practice and then he's going to Connor's party. So Uncle Phil ends up telling Carlton that he needs to take Will with him, introduce him to your friends, and, you know, get him acquainted. He going to your school, so he needs to get to know everybody. They both ain't really with it, but that wasn't a request. Carlton ends up taking Will to his lacrosse practice, and he said, I introduce you to, you know, the team later on, but while we around here, I'm the head honcho, and you just need to follow my lead. And y'all know Will, he like, boy, I ain't not following shit. Like, I think you lame, so I'm definitely not going to be following your lead. So while Carlton is walking off, Will turn around and he sees Lisa practicing. She's on the swim team. And he goes over there, and when she's coming back from doing her lap, he records her time, and apparently it's a time that she's been trying to get to, and it indicates that she's ready for the Olympics. So they end up talking about that. Will ask her if she's going to Connor's party, and she like, you asking me out? And he like, no. She like, 'cause you know I'm your cousin ex, like I ain't with it. He like, man, I ain't know that. I'm just trying to kick it. Will goes to the locker room to meet up with Carlton, and they playing Hot Nigga by Bobby Shmurda, and every other word is nigga. You mean some hot nigga? When I drop nigga, like, the white boys is in there, and Connor, the most ignorant white boy, is on top of the bench screaming the song, and Carlton is doing a dance, and Will just like, whoa, cut that shit off. What is y'all doing? And Carlton like, what are you doing? And he like, y'all can't say that shit. And then Connor gonna jump down. I hate white boys like this, like those overprivileged, know they privileged, type of white boy that will grape someone and go to court and get away with it. I don't know how much I can say on here, but y'all understand the type of white boy I'm talking about. Goofy frat boys. He's one of them. And it's something about black people that only have white friends that kind of make me feel away. Like, I'm sorry, you don't have nobody in your circle that look like you. None of your friends are black. Your whole family black and you ain't got no black friends. Nah, Carlton, tonight we'll end up threatening Connor and said, I sock your ass out. And when Will and Carlton get home, they end up getting into it about why Carlton was letting them say the N-word. And Carlton gets some bullshit ass excuse about, oh, why can't they say it when that's all they hear on the radio, and it's an industry of white people that's pushing the N-word and making profit off it. And it's like, that's irrelevant. they can't say it. And when you come across the right black person, you might get talked out if you say it. So, you know, but you a sellout. And I ain't really messing with it. So the situation is getting heated. And Aunt Viv is like, what's going on? So she tries to calm Will down and talk to him about the situation. And I'm just like, Aunt Viv must not have the whole story, because she kind of, like, she disappointed in both of them, but it feel like she kind of taking Carlton's side, because she tell Will that he can't bring the Philly out, basically, in every situation. And it's just like, she's absolutely right. But this was warranted, because, like I said, we need to be consistent with the character. The Aunt Viv I know, if she'd have known that Carlton was letting his white friends say the N-word willingly and freely like that, she would have cussed him out. And then she would have been down to that school, and she would have had a problem with the school. It would have been some moving and shaking. The Aunt Viv from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wouldn't have went for that. But anyway, after she has that conversation with Will, I guess it resonates with him, and he tried to go upstairs and talk to Carlton. Y'all, Carlton a cokehead. Will came in that room basically trying to have a conversation with him, and as soon as he opened the door and turned the corner, he like, what the fuck? Carlton doing a line. And he gets mad when he see Will in his room, and he like, you don't know how to knock? And he was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know I was interrupting the coke session. And he was like, it's not coke, it's Xanax. And I'm just like, why are you sniffing it then? You sniff Xanax? Just take it regular. It's a pill. Why would you crush it up? That was coke. Stop playing with me. They fake makeup, and they end up going to the party. When they get to the party, Lisa once again finds Will, and they end up dipping off and having a conversation. During that conversation, they basically end up talking about how, I believe they said that Lisa was there on a scholarship, and people don't let her forget it, because she has to work 10 times as hard. And then she kind of said under her breath, you'll see. Because they finna do Will the same way. They already prejudging him, just based off his personality and his appearance. So then she ends up mentioning that she finds it weird that her parents, like her people, been tight with the Banks family for years, and she's never heard of them. And at first, I didn't think it was a big deal either, because Will ended up shrugging it off. However, they're first cousins. So why wouldn't you mention, like, you never mentioned that you got a sister and a nephew? Like, that never came up in conversation ever, especially if y'all sisters, and I don't know if they estranged or what the situation is, but it's giving y'all a shame of where y'all came from. So while Will and Lisa are having this conversation, Carlton is once again over by the pool, not by the pool, but over, adjacent to the pool, doing a line, and kind of walked up to him like, why are you sitting over here being a little bitch? I don't know what strategy you got going on by ignoring Lisa and thinking that she about to come back to you, but that ain't working. And then he walked off. So Carlton took that as the initiative to go and find Lisa and have a conversation with him. When he see Lisa, she is hugged up with Will by the pool, and they is finna kiss. So they kiss. Carlton is pissed. He walks around the pool and pushes Will in the pool. Mind you, Will cannot swim. So he pushed Will in the pool, and Will is drowning. While Will is drowning, she like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, do you think that, why are you flirting with my cousin to make me jealous? And I'm like, Carlton, why you think that it's to make you jealous, hon? She just don't like you no more. You a cokehead that need therapy. She's not attracted. Fuck on. So she ends up jumping in the pool and saving Will. And when Will get out the pool, Carlton gonna announce to the party, oh guys, don't worry about him, he's just doing this for attention. So that immediately pissed Will off. Will start walking up, kind of interjects and throws his body in the mix and gonna say some you need to calm down. Will ain't say nothing. He immediately socked his ass out. And then he walked up to Carlton and he socked Carlton ass out. And that's exactly what both of their ass get. Even though we're wrong, because that's Carlton's cousin, once y'all know that was established, like, I just feel like that's a boundary that I wouldn't cross. Like, if y'all was in a serious relationship, that serious to where he finna drown you, let that go. Will shouldn't have been messing with her. But however, Carlton, get up out your feelings. That's your cousin. At the end of the day, that's family. You taking up, you'll cape more for this white boy than you would for your own blood. But so far, I'm liking the show. I think it's really good. I'm just, hoping they keep it consistent and, follow the original storyline as close as possible. I'm interested to see the similarities and what's gonna happen going forward. So that was Bel-Air season 1, episode 1, Dreams and Nightmares. And we'll see you guys later for episode 2. Peace.